So Judd Trump and Mark Williams for a place in the quarterfinals of the Shanghai Masters. All left-handed affair. Be interesting to see how Trump goes on. Obviously, first match in a couple of months for him since the World Championship. I'm sure he's nicely refreshed, but also looking forward to what will be, for him, a very busy season. He'll be in all the big events, of course. Starts the campaign number 2 in the world. Last season he won 5 ranking events, including 3 on the spin. Amazing thing about that, Steve Hallworth with me. The amazing thing about that, Stephen, he didn't win Player of the Year. That shows you what a good season Ronnie O'Sullivan had.
Yeah, it was incredible, wasn't it? Just look at Judd Trump's campaign last year. It was outstanding. You know, he looked unbeatable at times. 5 tournaments, as you say. But Mark Williams went on to lift a couple himself. So we're in for a bit of a treat here. 2 heavy hitters of the game, 2 of the greatest left-handers of all time that we've ever seen. So you can expect fireworks in this one.
Okay.
Yeah, it was an interesting match, that one at the Tour Championship, because Trump had played in the mixed doubles, which ended on the Sunday. He didn't play Williams till the Thursday. He chose to stay in Manchester, and it just seemed a bit flat. That's not taking anything away from Mark's performance, but Trump was poor that day. But the overall head-to-head does favour Trump 11 wins to 6, including the Masters Final 2023.
Yeah, I think the scoreline in that Tour Championship sort of reflected Judd as a whole, didn't it? You know, 10-4 to Mark. It's not very often. You know, that was a bit of a battering, really, wasn't it, for Judd? It's not very often you see him lose by such a margin. But the interesting thing about their head-to-head as well is that they've only ever played twice in China, and both of their meetings were in this event, the Shanghai Masters, and both of them were won by Judd Trump. So fond memories of this event in beating his opponent today. I wonder if that could play a part.
What?
You look at the intros as well this evening. This arena is incredible, isn't it? A packed house again, and just the atmosphere and everything around it. You know, the music, the adrenaline, it's all pumping. This Judd Trump's first event of the new campaign, and what a way to kickstart the season in a place like this. This is a big event. The best players in the world, this is what they all want to win. These sort of tournaments that involve the best players. This is a big occasion.
It really is. It's a great venue. It's a great tournament. Big money. All the big names in the game. So it's going to inspire the best. We saw the, before we came on air, we saw the MC warming the crowd up. I promise you, she made Rob Walker look like a shrinking violet. Honestly, it was extraordinary, wasn't it? The atmosphere she was generating.
Yeah, it looked like a nightclub at one point. The strobe lights were going and everything. You don't, not something you want to see as a player just before you're about to break off. But no, it's incredible, you know, how they sort of drum up the excitement around these big tournaments, and you know, and rightly so, because these guys are superstars. Let's have it right. You know, they're some of the best players we've ever seen, and they deserve, you know, being announced like that into these big arenas. That's what it's all about. This is what the game has become now. It's growing globally. It's a great time to be a professional snooker player.
Land.
So just eyeing up this little plant at the back of the pack here. He's landed low on it as well, so he's pretty much going to be bringing all the reds into play with this one shot. It's all about the cue ball. Can he get nicely on his next colour? He's got the plan, but he's lost the cue ball a fraction. He can see the black, but he's going to be hampered by the red.
Well, it's a big early shot, that, and he hasn't got it. Yeah, Trump, of course, just getting back into the swing of things, into the competitive arena. Of because Williams has had a match already. He's lost the cue ball here, though,
One.
in a big way.
Wow, dear me, that is either a big misjudgment from Mark or a big bounce off the side cushion. He's overdone that by some way. And he's actually put himself in quite a lot of trouble because that red in baulk is doing him no favours there. So what a let-off that is for Judd Trump.
Mark Williams, 1.
Amongst those 5 ranking titles last season for Trump, 2 were in China, the Wuhan Open, New Event, and the World Open in Yushan. Of course, the significance of Wuhan was the tournament started the day after he won the English Open. So he flew out, he had to play 2 matches in a day to catch up. Still came away with the trophy. And then a fortnight later won in Belfast.
Yeah, and you look at Judd's consistency throughout the whole of the last campaign. It wasn't just the 5 tournament wins he had. He was runner-up 3 times, semi-finalist 3 times, made 5 quarterfinals as well. That's just, you know, ridiculous consistency, isn't it? He's getting to the latter stages of pretty much every event he plays in. And, you know, that takes its toll over the course of a season. I just wonder if that, you know, played a part in his disappointing run at the Crucible, you know, by his standards. Losing to Jack Jones in the end, no disrespect to Jack, of course. He played fantastic and showed us what a great match player he can be. But after the season that Judd had, he probably would have expected a deeper run in the Worlds.
9. 10. 17.
Oh, surely not lock them into a plan here. If not, then there is one to the middle.
Well, he's asking for the extended rest, so that suggests that he has knocked them into a plan. He's been quite fortunate. Played to come across the face of those reds, although, as you say, he does have a red to middle, so this must be pretty much guaranteed, otherwise he wouldn't be entertaining it. Well, he's got the plan, but he's lost the cue ball fraction. Wanted to be much straighter on this black. He's landed a little close to the side cushion. And in doing so, he can't really do too much with the cue ball. Can only really get to the top of it, so he's just got to float this in. Played a little holding cannon off the red in the middle of the table. That was a nice shot.
Yes, and whatever caused Mark Williams to go wrong when he potted that red, losing the white immediately, it's been quite significant in this frame. Trump had missed that tricky blue when he'd been in first. Looks though like he's going to take the opener nonetheless.
Yeah, and we often talk about how important these early exchanges are, and they really are, because, you know, we saw in that game earlier on between Ronnie O'Sullivan and Zhou Jinhao, the Chinaman had a chance, only 16 years of age, had a chance to go 2-1 up, didn't he? And, you know, made an error on the yellow and pretty much sat in his chair for the rest of the match. Lost 6-1 in the end, so it's very important to capitalise on your chances early on in a match, try and get a foothold in the game.
Yeah, just think the small mistakes that Williams made yesterday that he wasn't punished for, he's more likely to be today. So from his perspective, that's what he'll be looking to cut out. because he's well aware, of course, that Trump
38.
is more than capable of pouncing on them. Snooker needed already here. Judd Trump, 3 times runner-up in the Shanghai Masters when it was a ranking event. He led 7-2 against John Higgins in 2012, but lost 10-9. Then he trailed 7-2 to Karen Wilson in 2015, lost 10-9. And 2017, Ronnie O'Sullivan beat him 10-3 in what was actually a masterclass of tactical snooker. Just completely froze him out.
$46.
Yeah, and both in a similar kind of boat, aren't they? Neither of these players have lifted this title, invitational or ranking, so both players will be eager to get this win and try and continue a run here. Try and get the name on that trophy. Box to tick for one of them.
Yeah, I think this tournament, it is like the Masters in as much as it's a bit of a statement tournament, isn't it? Because it's all top players. You can't have an easy draw or anything like that. You're going to be playing big hitters. So if you win it, it's a sign to everyone else of how well you're feeling, how well you're playing. Of course, O'Sullivan has completely dominated it the last few years. Well, it's early season. We can forgive him for not getting on the red there.
Yeah, it's careless, that, isn't it? Fully expected him to flick the red out there. Oh, he's got it anyway.
You started already. The naughty snooker.
And this is what this crowd love to see, isn't it? That's why he packs out arenas, Judd Trump. These exhibition-style shots. It's what we all love.
$63. $65.
And this will make him feel good as well, Judd. He'll sort of get the crowd on his side as early as possible. Just
68.
loosening up a fraction here. Been a pretty good opening frame for him. He'll be quite happy with how it's gone.
72.
Just able to smash a few balls around the table as well.
Yeah, the first of many frames, of course, he's going to win this season, and indeed he hopes this week in Shanghai. Judd Trump leads Mark Williams 1-0. So it is 1-0 to Judd Trump, and Mark Williams getting frame 2 underway. Just had that half chance really in the first frame, but it went wrong immediately.
Yeah, and of course, just looking back to that game Mark had yesterday, he did make a lot of errors in that match, didn't he? He wasn't punished. And you already made the point, Dave, that in a game like this against one of the game's greats, he will be punished. And, you know, obviously it's different because they're top players. They're able to just switch it on and off at, you know, the flick of a button. But it can be quite difficult as a player to know, you know, if you've come through a game that you've just battled through, you maybe don't feel like your form is quite there. It can be difficult at times to just turn it on. Especially when you're playing someone like Judd, who's probably not going to gift you chances left, right and centre. So it'll be interesting to see how Mark can respond.
Yeah, I think as well, Trump is wary of him because, you know, there are a few better shot makers than Judd Trump, but Mark Williams is in that category. He's an incredible shot maker, actually. And Trump's well aware of that.
So we could see a little bit of a stalemate here. The two reds up in baulk doing neither players any favours here. Obviously neither can really play up into the baulk area, so it's just going to be tapping into the reds for the time being.
Foul, and that means Judd Trump 4.
Yeah, Lee Walker, who's Mark Williams' good friend and coach, he told me that Mark dislikes frames like this where reds start going into baulk and suddenly the table is wide open. You're playing safety, but any minute it could switch and the other guy could get in and make a break. So you may not sort of start pushing reds down to baulk if you can help it.
Yeah, I'm with Mark on that one. I absolutely hate this type of frame as well. It's just very untidy, and I never seem to win them either, which I think is the reason why I don't like them. So we'll probably see Mark just carry on, just tapping up to the reds. Well, he's decided to try and jack the cue ball up, the cue up, and get the cue ball back to the top cushion, and it's gone wrong. He's left the red to right middle for Judd. That's a big mistake from Mark.
One.
Judd Trump, the leading century break maker last season, was 79. And he's only 20 off 1,000 for his career. Because John Higgins is 2 away, Ronnie O'Sullivan well clear. So Trump would be the 3rd man to do it, but he'd be by far the youngest.
Yeah, he's an incredible scorer, isn't he, Judd Trump? As you say, just 20 off the 1,000 century. That just seems incredible. And still so young as well, really. He's got the snooker world at his feet, I suppose. Already achieved so much in the game. But the mindset that this player has, just wants to continue winning.
14.
One of the problems he's got is that these legends just refuse to go away. I mean, I think if you go back a few years when Trump really broke through as a top player, if you'd fast-forwarded to this point, 2024, you could reasonably have expected the O'Sullivans and Higginses and Williamses to have declined, but they're all still very much at the top. If we go back 2 years to the World Championship, the semi-finals, it was Trump and it was those 3. So he's having to battle them, he's having to battle the players of his own generation and the new players coming through.
Yeah, it's great though, isn't it? Because, you know, they're all kind of feeding off one another. Judd has sort of seen those guys growing up himself, you know, looking at that as the pinnacle.
21.
That's the level he needs to get to. And all of a sudden he sort of overtook them. And then those guys are like, right, we can't let these young guns overtake. And they're just sort of playing off one another and just continuously bringing one another on. It's incredible. And that's why the standard is just increasing all the time.
25. 26. 30. 31.
So Trump looking to get back in amongst these reds and taking a bit of a detour down the bulk end.
Yeah, he just took the chance to tidy up the bulk area, didn't he? Remove those reds. And now straight away, getting into the pack from the green, he's pushed a red out. I think he can get through to it. He may just need to chuck a little bit of right-hand side just to slightly bend this cue ball around the red closest to it. Well, perhaps it's a bit more of a swerve than it first seemed.
Well, you're talking a centimetre really there to probably win in the frame. Or not from that visit.
Yeah, you talk about fractions in this game, and he was a fraction away from
the
perfect cannon there. He's just caught the pink. Yeah, if he catches the reds rather than the pink, they probably open a little bit wider than that. A bit more pace going through the reds. It wasn't to be, so doing the correct thing, playing safe. And now Mark has played a little dump shot here, and he's left the tempter to left middle for Judd Trump. And in it goes. So worrying signs so far from Mark Williams for me. He's played a couple of loose shots so far in this game, and as we've already referred to, he isn't going to get away with that type of mistake against someone like Judd Trump.
No, but what you absolutely can't afford to do with Trump is just leave him openers, which he's done twice now in this frame, to either middle pocket.
Six.
And you can see there just how quick this table is.
11.
It's hardly hit that. And the cue ball has just kept running and running. Nicely on this red there. You can see the two reds closest together. I think the bottom one of the two will pass to this left corner pocket. There's one right in the middle of that cluster as well, which will go. So they're kind of all just blocking one another for the time being. As he removes one, it will open the other. 55 points to the good now. He's a couple of reds away from securing the second frame. Been the perfect start for Judd Trump. And he knows the
17.
importance of getting on top of your opponent quickly. He knows just how dangerous Mark Williams can be. One of the best players we've ever seen to pick
18.
up a snooker cue. But as is this man, Judd Trump.
Well, this red should make it 2-0. And it's been pretty one-sided, this match
25.
so far. Williams knows he's just got to cut out these little errors, because they're looking like big errors
26.
right now. Trump, like everybody, really is a confidence player. If he gets his confidence up, he's pretty unstoppable. And he, like all the other players here, not really know what to expect first tournament of the season, but he looks fully settled. He's adapted pretty quickly to this table. Playing some nice stuff already.
32. $37. 38.
In terms of ranking
45.
titles, 28 Trump, 26 Williams. Of course, this isn't a
46.
ranking tournament. Overall pro titles, Trump 39, Williams 35. Some big numbers. A lot of trophies there.
52. Foul. Judd Trump 52.
So Judd Trump on top early on. Remember, it's best of 11. There's a long way to go. It's 6 to reach the quarterfinals, but Trump looking good already, leading Mark Williams here in Shanghai 2-0.
Third frame. Judd Trump to break.
2-0 then to Judd Trump here in Shanghai, best of 11, to play Weili in the quarterfinals. He was very impressive earlier, beating Luca Brissell 6-2. Of course, it was C that beat Mark Williams in the World Championship 10-9, round 1. Now then, chance at a long red for the Welshman.
One.
Well, it was a much better pot from Mark Williams. At least he got the red, but he didn't have a favourable cannon. He's in no man's land, so the good long red is only going to come to 1 point.
Mark Williams 1.
He's not really followed it up with the best safety shot he's ever played. Not really much pressure on Judd Trump here for the return. In fact, his left hand on table for Judd, and he's eyeing up this long red. And he doesn't miss them.
One.
Well, how poor was the safety shot from Mark Williams to not get the cue ball near the baulk cushion there. That was a big, big mistake, because you leave hand on table for this man, and quite often you find the ball crashing into the back of the leather.
Six.
There you can see the black does pass
7.
these two reds just above it. He'll look to try and remove them as quickly as possible. Possibly just play for the one directly above the black now, which then gives him access to the one to the right of it. So from nowhere, this is a pretty good chance early on in this third frame for Judd Trump.
14. 15.
It's key, isn't it? You look at the best break builders in the game. They're always analysing the table, looking for the problem balls as early as possible. Judd Trump there, completely aware the two reds around the black spot were problem balls. He's quickly removed them. And now he's just looking at the reds, just trying to plan a route of how he's going to attack that pack at some stage. There is 2 or 3 reds available for him at the moment. He's going to go into them at some stage.
23. 30.
Well, this seems a bit tighter than he certainly was hoping for.
Yeah, it was an anxious little look from Judd, wasn't it, as the cue ball came off the side cushion. Perhaps the cushion's just playing a little quicker than both player anticipates. He was okay. You could see enough of that red to just straighten it up with a trace of right-hand side. So there's a red still available, with one nearest to the pink spot that will pass into this right corner pocket. Judd can just drop across onto that now.
$38. 39.
Well, literally a Judd Trump fan there. It's worth saying, I'm sure a lot of this is true of any venue, a lot of the spectators will be watching snooker for the first time, so they'll have seen it on the TV. It's a very different experience, any sport, when you're up close. You can see the skill up close for yourself.
46.
Yeah, and anyone that's ever played this game knows just how tough it is. And as you say, when you're there in the arena watching these top-class sports people competing and playing to the highest level, it's quite mesmerising, isn't it? Seeing just how easy they make it look. It isn't easy, I can assure you.
$52.
So that really poor safety shot from Mark Williams has been very costly indeed. These players, they score so heavy when they get in so fast.
59.
And already Judd's arrived at red and black to leave Mark only able to tie.
60.
Needs one more red after this. Apologies, no, he needs one more red anyway. Mark has the single point, so he'll be going into the reds here, Judd. And it hasn't worked out, so just a glimmer of hope still for Mark Williams in this frame. 66 points behind 67 available.
67.
Anything but a full ball cannon to that red might have been okay.
Your Trump. 67.
Well, before he beat Trump in the Tour Championship, Mark Williams beat Tom Ford, and he did so with a miraculous break in the decider from a very unlikely position. The balls were a lot tougher than they are right now in terms of where they were.
Yeah, Judd will be fully aware of that. There isn't anything safe at the moment, so the safety shots Judd will be playing from here on out, his main ambition will be to try and get red balls safe. And they're just trying to push a red towards the side cushion. He needs some insurance because, as you say, if Mark is able to get in and give himself a chance, they're all there for him. So Judd got a possible shot to nothing here. Can play the cue ball back to Bork, attempt the red to left corner. Yeah, then it goes, very well played.
Yeah, you have to say he's good value for what will now be a 3-0 lead. Just getting enough scoring chances.
3.
Yeah, but I suppose if you're being ultra critical of Mark Williams so far, he has played a couple of loose shots. That safety shot a few moments ago in the previous frame as well.
4.
You know, Judd's not really having to work too hard at the minute. He's just doing what's there, taking the balls that are in front of him. Mark is going to have to turn it on and quickly if he's going to be competitive in this match, because
6.
Judd, the further ahead he goes, he's just growing in confidence.
Well, that shouldn't make any difference. He's well over the line. Yeah, Williams struggling. He's going to have to tighten up in all areas. Trump just getting too many openings, and he's making the most of them. And he's already halfway to victory, leading 3-0. Well, we're just back underway here, frame 4, with Judd Trump leading Mark Williams 3-0. Trump snookered and going to hit the black. And he's left the red on, more importantly.
Mark Williams 7.
Yeah, this is a must-win frame for Mark Williams now, isn't it? He can't afford to go into the interval 4 frames adrift in a race to 6. And that was a big misjudgment from Judd Trump, because not only did he leave the red, he was able to leave a pretty good early chance for Mark Williams, just able to nip that red in. He was quite close to it, played it nicely and perfect on the black. So this the kind of chance Mark was hoping for. He's got to make this count. It's as simple as that. Can't afford to go 4-0 down. Okay, of course he's capable to come back from that sort of deficit, but against a player like Judd Trump in good form, full of confidence, it's a pretty daunting task. Chose against playing in the Championship League, the first event of the new campaign, did Judd Trump. And so far that seems to have been a good decision, was able to just fully refresh after what was a very busy campaign for him last year. Mark Williams took the chance to play at Championship League.
16.
Yeah, he played some good stuff there. He got to the last group and he made 5 centuries. I said yesterday, 5 centuries in only 9 matches, very short matches. But obviously, it's a very different event. This, I mean, there was no crowd in Leicester. This is a much bigger occasion. And you know you've got to perform in this Shanghai Masters with the quality of the field to stand any chance.
24. 25.
Yeah, there's no hiding away, is there, at this event? Both tables, just two tables in action, both in this arena.
32.
You're under the lights. You know, you're fully exposed out there. There's a lot of pressure. But that's what these players live for, the pressure. They're able to deal with it in the big events on the biggest stage. Mark Williams has got to find something here, because he's not really played a part in this match so far.
Well, so far, he's found 5 reds, 5 blacks.
40.
Yeah, and a good chance to continue to stay on the black as well. The cannon to the pack is going to be key, because it's not the most inviting pack to get into, actually. Okay, they're not tightly bunched, which makes it a little bit nicer to go into them from the black. But they are quite flat, aren't they? Be interesting to see Mark's approach to this shot, if he'll leave himself high or low on this black.
$41.
Oh, wow. That is so good. What a shot Mark Williams has played there. He didn't really have the best angle on the black there. He had to force
48.
that cue ball, try and create a little bit more angle than he possibly had, but he's played it perfectly. He's on a red at the back of the cluster now. Can he avoid the cannon to the black in potting it? It's made a little bit more awkward by the fact he's queuing down over a red. It limits what he can do with the cue ball. So he's looking at other options. Yeah, and he's played that very well. Now, what a chance this is, Dave.
49.
Absolutely. Well, we've only ever had 3 maximums in Shanghai. The most recent was back in 2016, Stephen Maguire.
$56.
Well, it looks to have gone wrong pretty quickly there. He's not low on this. He's not high, sorry, on this red. He's landed low. Can he play a little cannon to pink or red to stay on the black?
The problem, isn't it, is that the frame's not over yet. It's still live.
Yeah, he couldn't.
57.
He's got to take his medicine here now. He's got to play the pink. You could see he was trying, though. He had it on his mind, didn't he?
Oh, he's looking at the black.
Yeah, he's having an argument with himself. He knows it's not the right shot, but it's what the crowd want, isn't it?
Pink's much easier. Frame's not won yet. He's 3-0 down to Judd Trump. He must feel the pink's the right shot. But he's still tempted. He's still tempted. Not enough, though.
The showman in Mark is trying to will him on to play the black, but the professional in him is telling him the pink's the correct shot. As you say, 3-0 down. He couldn't afford to take that black on. Had he missed it, he'd have left the frame for Judd. Good decision, Mark. Okay, we all wanted to see the maximum, but he's got to win this frame. It's as simple as that. £10,000 for the highest break here in Shanghai. Still a possible 146 available. Current high break stands with Barry Hawkins at 141, so chance to set a good marker here.
Well, the main thing is it looks like he has won the frame, which he needed,
71.
and also to do it in one visit. Just sends a little message to Trump. There's still a
72.
match on.
Yeah, and it's important for Mark to just concentrate and see out this frame now. Try and stay on black for as long as possible, because what that means is that someone has to basically make a magical maximum to nick the 10,000 off him. So, you know, it's a very good target to have, isn't it? see how disappointed he is with that one. He had so much room to get high on that red.
Eight. 93.
Well, he's disappointed, obviously, not to go on and make the century and possibly the total clearance. But the important thing is he has won the frame. He needed that just to get a foothold as the players go to the interval. So it's Judd Trump leading at the break by 3 frames to 1. So Judd Trump and Mark Williams back underway, with Judd Trump leading 3-1. He led 3-0. Williams made 93. Could have made more, but the main thing is he won that frame in a single visit and he's on the scoreboard, having just made a few too many errors in the first 3 frames. Again, I think the nature of this tournament means that Trump, you know, at 3-0 he was looking good, feeling good, but the fact he's playing Williams, he's not taking anything for granted here. It's not just a question of coasting through. He's going to have to win 3 more frames and he's going to have to stop his opponent from scoring. Straight away, Mark Williams with a terrific red there.
Yeah, that was so good because he had so much left-hand side on the cue ball there. He's been so unfortunate to find the ball pocket. Look at the left-hand side he's had to put on this cue ball to come round the back of the black. Makes the red very missable. And then to find the corner bag is so unfortunate. Mark will have been very disappointed with how this match started, but at least he went to the interval with some positive thoughts. That was a good contribution he made in the frame just before.
Judd meanwhile has gone 2-1 up against Ali Carter on table 1.
Well, Judd was in trouble there, wasn't he? He was tight underneath that baulk cushion and didn't really have many options of routes back to baulk, so had to play that red thin. He was going the 2 cushion route, unable to avoid the blue, so he's left Mark with a chance. Not an easy chance, though. The black is tied up well. He's overcut the red, and that's amazing. I can't believe he's overcut that.
One.
this time a misjudgment from Judd Trump. So a little bit of a cagey start to this fifth frame. Now what will Judd decide to do here? He's got reds available, but the brown surely too thin. Can't attempt the green. Big target to get the cue ball in behind the green and brown.
The Trump won.
So Mark's got to catch this red very thin. If he doesn't, the jaws of the corner bag could come into play. Well, he has called it thin, but he's pushed the red towards the right corner. And one which I'll be very surprised not to see Judd Trump go for. Well, the red to right corner is available, but Judd's eyed up a plant just beneath the pink spot. And he's got it.
One.
But has he been unfortunate again? The pink won't pass the blue. Or is there just enough room to creep it in that middle pocket? Oh, well, there was, and that's a great shot from Judd Trump. Now he's away. Took the decision there to play that plant because felt that positional from the red over the pocket was not straightforward.
8.
Played a couple of plants in this game, hasn't he? He doesn't mind taking on the big shots. He's a proper shot maker, isn't he? Okay, those reds were pretty dead set to that corner. But still, there's always that little bit of doubt in your mind. If you don't catch them right, it could turn it. Played it nicely.
Yeah, this was the problem at the Crucible. It was the opposite against Jack Jones. He just went into his shell completely. And then when chances came along, you just couldn't take them. You just had no fluency, no rhythm. But, of course, the World Championship is just a different event. You know, the multi-sessions, matches that can last 3 days. Everyone has struggled there at some time. Last season, all the players that struggled were the ones who'd done well all season. And the players that did well, the opposite side of the coin, had poor seasons and then some kind of redeemed themselves in Sheffield. We'll see Karen Wilson tomorrow, of course, the champion.
Yeah,
and Judd has just sort of wriggled his way into a good scoring chance here, hasn't he? Got the pink spot open now. He's happy to leave that black tied up. Pink available into a couple of pockets. Happy to just work in this area now. Probably the perfect ball, really, to have available because you have access to more pockets than the black. There's plenty of reds in open play
18.
for Judd to see out this frame. It's a big frame. It's one that Mark really needs to win to keep his hopes alive. He's just sort of clinging on to Judd at the minute, and that's all he is doing, clinging on.
Yeah, well, he had the chance, didn't he? But, I mean, he grossly overcut that red to left corner. Just when it looked like it might be the start of something, having made 93 in frame 4.
$25. 31. 32. 38. 39.
'So if he's straight or low on the red just above the black, it may be wise to take that
45.
now. Just gives him another red to remove from the table. Obviously he's got the red over the right corner, but needs to just be mindful of his positional play. Get nicely on the pink.
46.
Yeah, he's played it pretty well. So clinical, aren't they, when they get into this sort of position? He can smell blood as well. And he knows how important this opportunity is. He needs to keep Mark cold, keep him in his seat for as long as possible. Doesn't want to give him either a glimmer of hope.
No, I think this is where the game has changed over the years. Players now are so determined to kill frames off in one visit. You know, you go back maybe 40 years, it was sort of make 40, player safety, make another 40. Obviously there were centuries as well, but the weight of scoring has certainly massively gone up over the years.
53.
And it's key to the modern game, isn't it? It's impossible to get to the top of snooker these days if you don't score heavy. It's as simple as that. When you get your chance, you've got to kill off the frames because it's what the best players in the world do. The scoring ability is just incredible.
Well, he played a nice shot to get on the black, so snooker's required.
6th.
Yeah, I think this is, in a way, Stephen Hendry's legacy. He came into the game and, as a young man, basically just took everything on. And it was a kind of different approach, really, to what had been seen before. But, of course, all these guys grew up watching him.
Yeah, it's been a very nice visit to the table, this, from Judd Trump, because he's had a few problems to solve. There was a little puzzle that sort of needed working out around this pink spot, and he's dealt with it quite beautifully. This has been a really well-constructed break.
68.
Is Judd Trump going to make his first century of the season here? For a while, it looked like he might get to 100 last season. He ducked out of a couple of tournaments late on just because he was playing so much snooker, so he ended on 79, which is still plenty. It's more than plenty, actually.
75.
Yeah, the season where we could see Judd himself get to 1,000 centuries.
82.
Along with, inevitably, John Higgins.
83.
He's just beautiful to watch, isn't he, when he's in full stroke. There's just something about a left-handed player for me, both of these guys, when they're in full flow and just floating around the table. It's just
85.
effortless.
87.
And again, I'll reiterate what I mentioned yesterday about the conditions here in Shanghai. They look fantastic.
90.
In years gone by, it can be quite heavy in China due to the moisture in the atmosphere. That all plays a part in how the table plays. The scoring this week so far has reflected that. There's been a lot of one visits this game. Every frame there's been a break over 50. You know, the scoring's been very high. And I think when the conditions are right, it encourages that because these guys are so good.
99.
So this pink then for century number 1 of the campaign for Judd Trump. Big frame to win. Mark Williams did have the chance. He overcut that red initially, and Judd Trump has done the rest.
Judd Trump. 112 and a frame.
112 from the world number 2. Judd Trump extends his lead here, and he's just 2 away from a place in the quarterfinals of the Shanghai Masters. He leads Mark Williams 4-1. Well, as popular as Mark Williams is, those cheers were for Ding going to the interval. But there'll be a lot of support for Williams to make this closer.
36. Mark Williams to break.
Starts with this frame. He's 4-1 down. Really opened the reds there, hasn't he? That's kind of the opposite of the that break he was playing a few years ago when he just rolled into the back of them. But the key thing, of course, is not to leave a long one on.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad break-off, really, was it? Because he's cut off pretty much all the reds bar one for Judd Trump. So he had to catch that very thin with a lot of right-hand side, and he's done well there. Right-hand side to try and avoid the double kiss on the red in going back to balk. So there's a little corridor for Judd to try and find here if he plays off the side of the pack. He's got to avoid the 3 reds to the right of the table. Looks a natural angle. It's all about pace, this shot. Needs a good cue ball. Now is the yellow going to come to his rescue because he's pushed a red over the left corner pocket. From Mark's body language you can see this red. Now can he get on a colour? Cue ball looks to be heading into the reds. And it was, so he's not on anything but the blue to corner pocket. And it's a big shot because these reds have spread nicely. It's a shot he's got to take on as well. Probably knock this in all day in practice. Of course, this isn't the practice table, but the best players in the world, they don't often miss them. Nice pot from Mark Williams.
6.
Well, he's gone a little too far for the red that he intended to, so he's going to have to take the outer one of these two. A more difficult pot, but he's dealt with it nicely again.
7.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing Mark Williams hasn't seen on a snooker table. This is a man who was 9 each on a respot at the Wembley Conference Centre in the Masters final with Stephen Hendry and won.
Look at how quick the bed of the table is playing. He looked like he was going to drop perfectly on the 3 reds beneath the pink spot, and he just kept on rolling, didn't it?
Yeah, he's just trying to establish prime position, isn't he? Then it's a great chance to pull one back.
when the conditions are this good and the speed of the table is as it is, it just really sort of highlights your cue ball control. You don't want that cue ball racing around the table because you can
13.
soon come unstuck.
He did well to get his money for that Masters title, by the way, because there was another Mark Williams on tour, and the WPBC at the time, this was in the days of checks in the post, and it went to the other one. It was only 155 grand though, so, you know. But thankfully, he did return it.
Didn't try and do a runner with it.
That's why he became Mark J. Williams. I mean, his middle name is James, but
28.
the J came into being on scoreboards and so on because of that.
$29.
Well, this is a glorious opportunity now for Mark Williams, isn't it? The reds are spread nicely. He's got the black available into one of the corner pockets for the time being, but the reds, there's no real reason to play any cannons. He's gone a little bit far on this blue, so may play a little holding cannon if he chooses to, but can just drift past the reds as well. He's got options here. Yeah, chose to play the holding cannon. It looked like it couldn't really go wrong, and it hasn't. Important to not play that shot with too much pace as well. Didn't want to push anything safe, just hold the cue ball in the middle of the table. Again, another demonstration of Mark's control. Well, there's a phone going off in the arena, and it's gone off 3 times now. I think it's an alarm. The referees are struggling to work out where it's come from.
Alarm bell's literally ringing.
$35. 请把你的手机调一下。
Yeah, I think what he was saying there was, can someone turn that off, please?
$42.
Again, though, Mark doing his best here to not let it distract him, because this is a key visit to the table. He found himself in similar positions in his game yesterday, and his cue ball just let him down at times. He kept asking himself little questions with pots that were tougher than they should have been. So far, so good at this visit.
50. $51.
This is where concentration is key, because you can hear there is a little bit of background noise. The other table are at their interval, so there is movement across the other side of the arena. There's a lot of people watching Ding over there. But Mark's got a job to do here. He's got to stay in the zone, stay focused.
Well, he's only a couple of balls now
66.
from winning the frame.
Well, he stayed with that one, didn't he? It was just gone in off the far jaw.
Now, it's been a good visit. The blue early on was big. As you say, you know, you fancy him for it, but under pressure, 4-1 down to Trump, possibly going 5-1 down if he misses it. He had to get it.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a big shot so early on in the break, but they were all there for him, but he still had to stand up and take them. We'll reiterate, it's key that Mark keeps Judd away from getting to 5, because surely if he gets to 5, he will have a chance at some point to see out the match.
Mark Williams 74 in the frame.
2 snookers needed. Trump's not interested though, so Mark Williams, a pretty quick kill in that frame. And he pulls one back in what is a very entertaining contest here. Judd Trump now leading 4-2. So 4-2. Mark Williams back in business after that 74 in the last. Still trailing though. 3-1 to Ding against Ali Carter. They're just about to come back from the interval on table 1. That will be on Discovery Plus when they resume.
So Mark came round to have a little look at the black. He's going to be going for this red. Well, he's missed it, and the red's gone into the pack. Now, what's the damage? No, it looks okay. For a minute there, that red going through the reds, it's quite often you see a ball be pushed on. He's not left anything easy for Judd, if anything. So Mark just looking at screwing this red closest to the side cushion into the pack and getting the cue ball back to balk. Chose against it, so just rolling up the red down the rail. Felt he couldn't really gain much of an advantage from that position. Well, again, Judd Trump catching the blue from a safety shot, trying to swing the cue ball around the back of the black, lots of side. He made contact, and a pretty full contact with the blue, so Mark now eyeing up this red to right corner. Just wonder if after that previous visit, it just feels like he's growing back into this game again.
One.
He was being phased out for quite a while in the early exchanges of this match. Well, he's missed the pink with the rest, but at first glance, there's nothing straightforward for Judd. The pink seems to have covered the red that Mark was intending to lay on. Now, is there another plan? The red's just above the black. Pretty close. There is a single red as well, which may pass. Oh, it's the plant, and he's got it. Oh, we might have to nickname Judd the gardener soon. He's taken on so many plants in this game, and he's got all of them so far.
Yeah, that pink was rather unexpected, the miss. There was a loud groan in the audience, and Williams, you could see, was pretty upset as well. He's just finding a way back into this match.
Five.
Now, can Judd get on the black from potting this red? He'll have to leave himself pretty low on it. And his next shot from potting the black to his next red isn't straightforward, but it's a chance to open the black spot up if he can. Doesn't look to be a lot of room there, does there, for the black, so choosing against it.
Six.
Well, it's safe to assume Ding and Ali have resumed next door. You can hear the applause. That's live on Discovery Plus. 3-1 to Ding.
The problem ball here for Judd is the red next to the black, isn't it? Because that black is out of commission for the time being. There are a few reds available for Judd, though. Well, he's had a right result there because he's had a little brush cannon on the cluster of reds and he's landed absolutely perfect on this problem ball, which I just referred to. He didn't play that. He's played to open the reds up, but he's landed absolutely A1 on this red now.
10.
At any level, a little bit of luck here and there makes a massive difference, but the ability that these guys have, it can be pretty colossal, can't it? This now, a good scoring chance for Judd Trump. He's got the black right where he wants it. In a couple of shots' time, this could be a frame-winning chance.
16. 17.
Again, just a little bit of thinking required here for Judd Trump. The reds are kind of just covering one another. There are a couple that he can play onto, but at some stage he will need to play a little cannon just to push a few more into play. Well, he played the cannon to the pink there and he's missed it, but he has got the red to left corner. He's going to have to play it with the rest, though.
24.
If he catches the pink there, he's on the red to right corner.
$25. 32.
Well, it's all very congested, isn't it, around the pink spot? Still plenty of work to be done for Judd. He needed to pot that, and he hasn't. So, just started to get a little bit tricky, didn't it? They was all covering one another, a few little cannons required. Very tight little space there for him to play in. And in missing the red to middle, he has opened a few more for Mark Williams. So what a chance for a counter-attack. Four-two with a chance to make it 4-3.
6.
And the game is well and truly on, isn't it? 5-2, and I think, you know, we all kind of expect Judd to just see out the match. It will take something special from Mark Williams to come back from that deficit. This is a huge visit to the table now for Mark Williams.
7. 14.
Well, that's gone wrong. Played the cannon, he's not on the red. Trying to recover with a double, which he's done brilliantly.
15.
Wow. What a shot that is from Mark Williams. Possibly a little bit of frustration in that shot as well, because the cannon to the pink he didn't expect, and it was really awkward, covered the red that he was intending to play on, but just got down, as he does, so nonchalantly and just knocks the double in.
23.
misses that one.
Mark Williams, 23.
Wow. Well, he missed a pink early with the rest, but if anything, maybe just slightly took his eye off that one.
Well, look at how quickly he was up as well. He was pretty much walking, wasn't he? Goodness me, what a mistake that is from Mark Williams at such a big time in the match.
1.
God, Judd was out of his chair like a whippet there. He, as well as us, could not believe that mistake from Mark Williams, a routine pink to middle. I can only assume he's just taken his eye off it.
Six.
Yeah, Judd taking the chance there to go into the reds from the red. It looked like it was impossible to go wrong with the pink being where it was. So one good shot here, positional shot to land on his red. And we could be looking at 5-2.
Yeah, and the disappointment for Williams, if that happens, is that he recovered so well with that double when he looked like he'd lost his way. But then, very unexpected miss on the pink.
14.
Well, that's not the best shot from Judd. He had to be high on that on the pink, sorry, to just play a nice little stun shot over the side of the table for the reds into the right corner pocket. He now looks like he's going twice across here. Touch of side to try and straighten the cue ball up. He couldn't get close to these reds, so now this is missable.
Looking up at the scores, he's 28 in front. Another big shot in this big frame. Yeah, very good.
21.
Yeah, that's a very nice pot from Judd Trump. You could see him just sort of hold that position at the table there, just saw it in all the way, fully committed to that red. He knew that that was the ball that was probably going to see him over the line in this frame. And Judd doing what all the best players do.
24.
An uncharacteristic miss from Mark Williams, and he's pounced.
Yes, it feels like the biggest frame so far because Williams did have his chance, but now he's going to have to win the last 4 to stop Judd Trump progressing to a quarter-final meeting with Si Jiahui.
$27. 29. 32. 36.
Well, the referee seems to be struggling with a bit of a cold, but Judd Trump looking fit and healthy as this
41.
new season begins. The pink is bullied off the table. It was the pink that played its part. Mark Williams missed it twice, once with the rest, but then more seriously to the middle. And Judd Trump has stepped in and he leads 5-2 with one more needed for victory. Well, we saw a big 7th frame there. It was won by Judd Trump, so he leads 5-2. Mark Williams will need to now win the last 4 to stay in the Shanghai Masters.
Yeah, it's now or never, isn't it, for Mark Williams in this year's Shanghai Masters. Last frame, the only frame of the match so far which failed to register a break over 50, but quite possibly the biggest frame of the match. A couple of missed pinks from Mark proved very costly. He has just been prone to that odd mistake, hasn't he, so far in this tournament? We saw in his opening match as well a few mistakes. Okay, he wasn't punished, but you aren't going to keep getting away with them, especially against the best players in the world, and he has made mistakes today. Well, I'm sure Judd Trump will be pretty content with how he's performed. Breaks of 72, 52, 67 and that 112.
What?
It's a pretty good performance so far, but he's got to see out this match. And he wants to try and do it as quickly as possible. Doesn't want to let Mark Williams at least try and get a glimmer of hope in this game, try and grow back into this match. Yeah, it's gone wrong. It looked natural that the cue ball was going to make contact with the yellow there. Couldn't dig down enough on the cue balls to avoid that. Being so close to the side cushion.
Grief. Well, you didn't know where to look there. There was a red heading towards the yellow pocket, but one went in the right corner. And, I mean, he got nowhere near the red initially. Then reds were just running, and one went in.
Wow. That is a Judd Trump special, isn't it? Deary me. You can't account for that. That was outrageous.
Nine.
It's quite annoying, isn't it, how good they are, but how much run they get as well.
10.
Well, the thing with flukes, they're not always significant, but sometimes, you know, that could be the start of the winning break in a match, which means obviously it would be significant. Mark Williams can't do anything about it. It's up to Judd Trump to make the most of the luck.
Yeah, and he'll sense that, won't he? He knows, okay, he's had a massive fluke there, but it's what he does from now that is going to count. You know, he's played well in this game so far. He's been good for a 5-2 lead. I just wonder how much of that performance yesterday from Mark Williams in his opening match has had an effect on his mindset coming into this game, because, as we say, he came through that game.
16.
It wasn't comfortable, but he got the job done. And I referred yesterday to sort of how the players may be feeling, and you know, if Mark could have probably blitzed that guy yesterday and came here full of confidence, it might have been a different outcome, but he sort of just scrambled over the line in the end. And, you know, I'll say again, they can turn it on pretty quickly, the best players in the world, but I just wonder how much that performance yesterday didn't really fill Mark with much confidence coming into this match.
Yeah, I saw Williams tweeting earlier about how he was, you know, had the jet lag and
22.
was up early and all the rest of it, but he certainly wouldn't be alone in that as part of travelling. He might be travelling home tomorrow. It was a very outrageous fluke. He nearly fluked two, actually, which would have just been rubbing it in, but it was bad enough that one went in.
$28.
I think if you're to analyse Mark Williams' whole tournament here in Shanghai, for me, he's just lacked that little bit of intensity. Even when he's been at the table, he's been, I know he's always quite casual, isn't he? He's very laid back, but he's been overly so. And he's missed the odd ball and made the odd mistake, which have proved very costly. But yeah, we've seen a couple of outrageous flukes actually so far. There was a couple yesterday as well, but that one probably tops the lot, because it is probably going to be a frame and match winner.
36.
I don't know, I think maybe Zhou Jinhao's black to beat Zheng, because that was literally the last ball of the match. Trump attempted the double, didn't it? It flew in a corner.
It was Zhang reaction as well for me. He was absolutely
41.
spewing, wasn't he, when he saw that go in? The handshake was so stern.
42.
But it's all part and parcel of the game, isn't it? You get them going for you, you have them going against you. It's what you do with it. And so far, so good for Judd Trump. He's taken these nicely. He's just got to keep his composure here.
Yeah, and just
48.
as big a shot as the fluke red from him was the missed pink from Williams in the last frame, because that is what left them at 5-2. Could easily have been 4-3, and then, you know, it's suddenly tense and close and anyone's match.
Yeah, and I think Mark, being the professional he is and the character he is, he's been around obviously for so long. He's seen everything there is to see in this game. He'll, you know, if you was to ask him about the fluke at the end of the game,
55.
he probably won't even refer to it. I can guarantee he'll mention the pink he missed in the previous frame, because that's just how they look at it. You know, he had the chance to close the gap
56.
to 4-3, failed to do so, and then sometimes the balls just dictate, don't they? The game can just crucify you at times. The fact Mark missed that opportunity, possibly snooker's way of telling him, you know, you've had your chance, and then everything can run against you. It's just how the game goes.
61.
Well, this red should see Judd Trump home. So it was a big fluke, no doubt about it. And he's made the most of it.
62.
Had such a good season last year. 5 ranking titles, including 3 in a row. He'd love to win the Shanghai Masters, though. He's been in 3 finals when it was a ranking event. Yet to get his hands on the trophy.
68.
But he's been impressive today. First match of the season. You're not quite sure what to expect. A little bit of rust,
69.
maybe, coming into a new campaign. But overall, he scored well. He's looked good.
Yeah, he'll be very, very pleased with his performance, will Judd. You don't want to absolutely fly in your first match. He'll be looking to try and grow into this event, but he's put in a really solid shift here today. Scored very nicely when he's got in. He's looked well in control of himself and his emotions. It's just been a really
75.
workmanlike performance from Judd Trump. Very impressive.
Yeah, he had 72, 52, 67 first 3 frames, 112 in the 5th, and now this match-winning break in the last.
Fantastic, look at that. He's had a little
77.
cannon to the black as well, just to push the other red into play. Superb from Judd Trump. And this is where he really comes into his
78.
own, doesn't he? The frame and match well and truly won. We'll probably see him fizzing a few balls around. And why not? It's what this crowd wants to see.
Yes, luck helps, obviously, but
82.
with Trump, as with all great players, it's 99% skill.
85.
Yeah, and he'll make sure of the century first before he starts flying that cue ball around the table.
92.
Yellow, green and brown
94.
for his second century of this match.
$97.
Yeah, he's finished on a high. And he'll surely be very satisfied with his first match of the season. 2 centuries and victory over Mark Williams.
106.
Yeah, and here comes the exhibition snooker. Fantastic performance from Judd Trump. Very well played. He's brushed Mark Williams aside with ease today.
112.
Yeah, the missed pink in frame 7 was big, the fluke was big,
That's number 112.
but it was a big performance in the end from Judd Trump. He finishes with his second century of the match, and he's off and running here at the Shanghai Masters. He'll take on Weili in the quarterfinals. He looks very happy with his night's work, and the crowd enjoyed it as well.
So in the battle of the left-handers, it's Judd Trump who comes out on top. He's beaten Mark Williams by 6 frames to 2.